Roleplay!
Hi guys, it's Pilgrim today. Well, we're advertising one of the servers that I'm actually currently on, and we're going to get it fully up and running very soon. And basically this is an information video advertisement for you guys to come and join us, because we need as many people as we can to obviously make it more realistic. We need more cops, more paramedics, more firemen or firefighters, but if you're politically correct. We need more civilians to cause chaos in its situations for us, to then also be the victims of certain crimes. And obviously we need as many officers as we can get to make the roleplay more fun and enjoyable, and to have a correct amount of people in each sort of unit and things like that, so it works good. So, as the first thing you can see is the PED. Now, first of all, we have our British police. Now, this is what I'd wear regularly if I'm going out on patrol, just in the area car, and I'll show you the vehicles in a minute. But this is what I'd wear. This with the stab vest with the tie, because that is what Merseyside were, and that's just something that I would go for. But I will show you now the armed police and the other traffic stuff, but this is technically the traffic cop uniform. But I won't show you the main cop uniform, because I'll never really be wearing that. I'll always be wearing this one, or if I get ranked up to firearms and other stuff, I'll be wearing that. So we'll show you the firearms and the other traffic stuff, so we'll be back in a second. So as you can see, the first sort of traffic cop thing, you'd wear that with the bike, and you'd probably wear them pants or the cargo, depending. You probably wouldn't wear the cargo on a bike, so you'd wear them type of pants, but obviously this is when you're in your car, and you might go maybe for either no belt, or you might go for a belt with a taser or a belt without a taser. Either way, the belt with the taser's got everything you need on it. The belt without the taser's got everything you need on it, just without the taser. So yeah, or you can have no belt and have your belt under the jacket if you want to roleplay that, but that's obviously up to you. Obviously then when we come over to the hats, we have the biker helmet for the bikes. With the biker helmet down, we have the normal hat and off. Now it is a bit of a shame there isn't a white hat, but again, that's some stuff, you know, there's loads of stuff that we still need to fix. And the more people that join and give us feedback, then obviously the more we can work on it. So let's go over to the firearms officer. Now this is your standard firearms officer. Obviously we have the usual sort of PED thing here. Then we go over to her, and that basically just changes your radio to have a panic button or not. You can have short sleeve, long sleeve. You can have your, you can't change lower pants, you can't change your hand obviously. Shoes obviously you don't need to change. Accessories, that literally just changes the clips on your back. Accessory, that one doesn't do anything. Hats, now this is a good one. Now you can have your hat that basically, if you are going to pull out your handgun and don't have any weapons equipped, you basically, most plainclothes armed police officers will put the hat on, and the hat has a little webcam on, so that's good. Then you have your full-on tactical uniform with the glasses on the top of the hat, or the goggles on top of the hat, and then you have your goggles. You have your goggles down and your helmet on, full tactical, and again you got your webcam sort of thing on top, so you can film what's going on. So when you're arresting someone, you can see fully what's going on. And then glasses, that changes your air defender, sort of air defenders and mics. So obviously if you're going full tactical, you might go like that and go in with a G36, aka the heckler notch, and go in fully. And that's all you can change for that. So that's your armed police officer. Now I'm going to show you the cop and I'm going to try and find the fire and the paramedic if we have them. And I'll be impressed if we have, because no one's really requested that yet. So we're back in a minute. Okay, so for the firefighter we have that and that for a top. I'm assuming that's some sort of chemical. Hang on, let's have a look. Incident command, for the person in charge that would wear that, and no one else would wear that. Then we go over to the accessories, and you can have your rebreather and all that kit. Obviously rebreather with torch on, torch off. So that's kind of cool. Then we have our hats. We have the helmet. Obviously you have your yellow helmet, so then you'd go and you'd equip that. And then if you were obviously the chief sort of guy, you'd have that, and you might have a white helmet, but again, you don't really need it. And then obviously that's it for that. And then we'll try and find the paramedic. If we can't, then we'll move on to the next thing I'm going to show you. Okay guys, so we have the paramedic, and I didn't think we'd have one, but that's pretty cool. We have the full-on NHS outfit with the epaulets on the side, and the radio there like they do, the scissors there that they do, the carabiner. So we go over to beard, that doesn't change anything. Hair, that basically the hair is just whatever the ped sort of outfit does. So that is basically now a bit of a stab vest and a radio, so if you're going into sort of a terrorist attack or a sort of serious area where knife crime's happening, you might wear one of them to respond. Then obviously you take that off and you'd wear that, and obviously that's got all your zips and your pens, and that's, you know, maybe a road collision in the rain, you deal with that. Then you have just your warmer jacket, fleece sort of thing. We don't have any lower, we don't have any of them. Accessories, we don't have any. Okay, so the accessories are just taking the, I don't know what it's called now, I can't even think on the top of my head what it was actually called officially. And then obviously, because these guys can go in boats with the RNLI and the lifeguard / coast guard, they will go with them, rarely though, but a lot of the time it's for like the helicopter, and obviously if they're doing any going down cliffs or working on the cliffs or working in buildings with the firemen, then these obviously will have to put the helmets on, and that's it for them. So what we're going to do is we're going to change back to the cop that I was wearing before, and then we're going to show you what we've got. Okay guys, so what I'm going to show you now is the fleet. Now the fleet is what I'm going to do with my fleet, because basically this is not my server, but obviously when I'm patrolling I'm going to use the cars to obviously follow the traffic rules, so they are the traffic unit cars. But again, if they're not traffic cars, please don't, you know, things will change throughout and some things won't be the same, we'll get more vehicles added, things like that. So we're going to move in straight away. Now first thing you'll see is the is it the northwest? No, it's just a London ambulance, and we'll take the half. I'm back in a second. Sorry about that, I forget that the hat obstructs the view. So basically we have the I keep thinking northwest ambulance, but it's just a London ambulance because that's basically where we're based in this server roleplay. Just a nice ambulance, it's got all the stuff in the back like your gurney, I think it's called, and obviously all your machines, your first aid boxes, and obviously you've got your setup inside the car. So then we have the London Fire Brigade. Again, very nice, it's got all the advertisement on the side that you would see in your local towns. Get more tests weekly, and then on the other side have we got advertisements for smoking, I'm assuming? Yes, we have. Put it out right, and then obviously you've got all the sites like London-fire.gov UK. Obviously this is obviously based off the real one, it's modelled and everything, so it's all good. Now these two are obviously going to be your paramedic and your fire, so obviously these will be your main responders to anything that needs assistance. So obviously we need role players for them, and there will always be something going on for them because obviously roleplay brings up all sorts of things. Then we're going to move on to the traffic unit. I'm putting the traffic unit in because I want my area cars that patrol everywhere in the middle. When I say mine, I mean the way I've just set it out. I wanted it so you have emergency responder vehicles, aka not police. Then I want the traffic, and then I want area, and then I want other, we'll explain later. So obviously we have your traffic bike, so you get on that and you would just fly away. I'll show all the lights in a minute. It is a Honda, so it's pretty much what most police forces use. It is a super bike, so it is very fast. Or the Honda that I know that they use is a super bike. I don't know whether it's models off that one, but again, looks good. Obviously the light is very tinted at the moment, but that's just because I need to change the model thing. That's fine, that's my fault, no one else's. Then moving over to probably the most common police BMW you'll ever see when people are patrolling and they're on traffic unit. They'll always be in one of these, it seems, or one of these, or the unmarked version that you might see a little bit later, or the newer version. I think this is the newer version of that. Never understand which is the difference, but they are sort of the same, but one's newer than the other. I think it's this one, I want to say, but they might not be. They might actually be both the same, but I think, in fact, when I look at the back of them, that one looks older than that one. I can't tell. But yeah, ANPR fitted, obviously they're ready to go. Your standard patrol cars. Then too, obviously you'll also get put in area with them because they're good. Just, you know, they've got the skin. Everyone knows is the Metropolitan skin. So if you ever get asked to do patrols, just standard, it's not traffic unit, then obviously you might get put on one of these. You'll never get put on the bike really to do a normal standard patrol. It'll always be a traffic unit that's been asked to do a standard patrol. obviously if you're a traffic unit and get told, oh, go and do a patrol for us in this area, just not as a traffic unit, but you are still a traffic officer, you might be able to use what we're going to show you now, this vehicle. This basically it's going to be the main responder to major crashes. It'll basically be the head of the traffic unit, I would assume, because most traffic units use an X5, but obviously instead of using an X5 we used a Range Rover because that's just what we decided to do. So obviously it's a big vehicle seen, and obviously it will mainly be the commander's vehicle, but I'm assuming any traffic unit officer will be able to get out into it anytime. It'll just be the car that everyone wants to get into. But there is one other car that you've probably already seen that everyone will want to be in, and it's this, and I'm assuming we'll have loads of variants and colours when it comes to it, and loads of officers will want to be in it, but there probably will only be one unmarked car for the whole session that we roleplay, because you don't want everyone in an unmarked car, otherwise it's just not realistic. 2 unmarked cars, that's fine, depending on how many people are on as civs and other things. So obviously we have quite a nice BMW here, unmarked. Obviously you've got your front lights there, your front grille lights, your front dashboard. I'm assuming they flash. I've not actually checked the lighting system out for this. Again, I know that there's a message board here as I can see it. I don't know what it's going to say, but we will find out. You've got your lights that'll flash on the right and left, so you're like your indicators, but they'll flash blue and red. You've got lights there again, they'll flash blue and red, and they should just have blue lights maybe where the indicators are on the wing mirrors, but I'm not sure. So, just to recap, these are traffic cars that you'll be using mainly. Now obviously the main car that will be used by the command is this, but obviously it's not just a command vehicle, so that's okay. I was wondering what that was then. It was interrupting our area. And then obviously this will be the vehicle that people really go in unless you're lucky, and I'm hoping I'm going to be the lucky one to use it a lot, because I think, using an unmarked car gets you good content, but also a lot of people on the server do YouTube, so it does make it more fun. And obviously that's something we'll talk about in a minute. So then we move over to the area cars. Obviously your standard beat patrol cars. So basically everyone would have seen the Ford Focus and the Vauxhall Astra. I was thinking then what that was then. The Vauxhall Astra. Obviously this is the old Vauxhall Astra. It never really gets used anymore. But obviously it's a car that the Met go, okay, it's a car, if it gets destroyed, it's okay. It gets destroyed out there. We're not destroying one of these then when we take it out, because obviously they are area cars that you might take out, these two, if you're lucky, that one, and if you're really lucky, that one. But obviously these will be your main area cars when you go patrolling, and obviously who doesn't want to go patrolling in an old Vauxhall Astra? These are beast things. These used to be the icon of the Met Police, the Vauxhall Astra with this skin on it, and obviously the Ford Focus with that skin on it too. Again, obviously, beat patrols, you won't be able to really get in traffic pursuits, obviously, just because it works like that in real life, unless you're traffic pursuit trained. Technically, if you're on a beat patrol, it's sort of thing, you'll use your lights to respond as fast as you can, but it won't be like a traffic unit where you just be able to put your foot down and go for it. You'll have to still stick to the speed limits, but obviously overtaking people to get out of your way, depending on what you're granted, obviously, because the weather and the time and all that, and obviously what you're actually responding to. If it's a grade 1, then you can go pretty much as fast as you want, but that's obviously again up to the bosses of the server to decide the rules for each grading and how quick you respond. Then obviously you have your next area sort of vehicle. Obviously it's not an area car, as you can see, it is the Ford Transit. It's the old-fashioned patrolling van, but obviously it's one of the most classic, so why not have it in your server? Because you can have something new that I'll show you in a minute in the van wise, but why not have one of the old classic things that are reliable and loads of the forces want them back, because they're cheap to run, and obviously you have the cage in the back, you have your seats in the back, and obviously you have your seats in the front. It does the job. And also these are used in the Met, obviously when it's big sort of events, they'll use these too, because obviously again if these get sick on them, blood on them, damage or anything like that, these are cheaper to build again, fix again and buy again than the other expensive ones that I'll show you later, that are obviously aren't built stronger, but these are good and reliable. So again, you'll be pretty much, this will be sort of, again, your local beat patrol. You might have a traffic unit or firearms unit that requests you to come and help them out and basically be like, I need a transporter because the person's being too aggressive, and you get them in the back of the van, you chuck them in the van, and this van will drive them to the station for you, and obviously they'll be kicking the cage and not you in your cars. And obviously area cars might have to request for a van because you don't want someone smashing your window out when they can try and attempt to smash the cage. That won't work. Then you move over to the firearms cars. Now I'm not sure, I'm assuming this is a firearms car and this firearms car. This might become a patrolling car. Might, and I only say might is because I know this is the old CO19 car, purely because them lights are iconic to the old CO19 that they still use today. They still, in the Met, will use the CO19, the old classic BMW with them old classic lights, but obviously now they mainly use these because they're a little bit faster, a little bit nicer looking, and obviously more modern with the lights. But obviously, why not use the old classics that they still do every now and then? But obviously, this is going to be your firearms, and obviously your firearms officers will be lucky enough to use them. I have applied for firearms and got requested down to traffic. Obviously, that is a downgrade. But hey, you can always work up, and obviously at least we're still working with some faster cars and working with some nice cars again, because if you think about it, this car is basically exactly what I've got over there, so from not firearms. But I'm assuming firearms are going to be requesting a lot of traffic stops and things like that, and we'll be helping them and they'll be helping us. And as you can see, you've got your ANPR there. I don't think there's an ANPR in there, but there's probably a hidden one on this somewhere that I can't even see myself. But again, obviously you have your NPR for here because obviously you want to know if a car's got, if you're pulling it over and you've got firearms, you want to know whether they've got firearms. They've got firearms markers on the cars, knives, anything. Obviously people will role play that and let you know and things like that. It'll all be really realistic when we get it set up. We'll have a CAD going and everything. It will be cool and realistic. You know, you'll be able to call your radio commanders and things like that. Obviously if you're head of firearms, you might be able to go, right, okay, I want to do what I want. But if you're at the bottom of traffic, on the bottom of patrol, you can't do anything without asking your higher ranks, obviously, like you would in real life. You can't just pull people over for the sake of it. You can't just request things. So obviously, you've got your BMWs, obviously, firearms. These are going to be your mainly firearms cars, but I wouldn't say, I know that one will always be firearms car because it has the yellow sort of warning signal light that always is on the X5s. But this one and this one, you never know, you might see doing an area patrol. But again, firearms can do area patrols. But when I mean area patrols, I mean just the standard police officers with taser, if they're lucky, in that one and that one. But never in that one will be a normal standard officer unless they're getting assisted or going with or training with firearms. Then you have, now I never know what this is, you only ever see this in London really, around the Queen's, sort of Buckingham Palace and diplomatic areas. Basically, high VIP areas is normally where I see this, but I could be wrong. But I always feel like that is where I see it. Now, obviously, if I am wrong, let me know in the comments. I don't know why the reds are on for it. I'm not really sure. I might have hit them on by mistake. But basically, this is normally where you see it: London, in Buckingham Palace, and obviously around Westminster. And also, you'll see them around, trying to think now, Downing Street and that sort of area, because obviously you have your Parliament, your houses, and all the rich areas that are full of members of government and all that stuff. Well, these cars are mainly seen around that area, and the busiest part of London also is the big square and things like that around that. So obviously, this will be mainly a firearms car. But again, I don't ever really see that. I can see that one and that one being a standard patrol unit and maybe a traffic unit if they're lucky. But that will never be. That will always probably be a firearms car or a VIP protection car. It'll never really be just a standard patrol car or traffic, because it just doesn't look right having a standard patrol car or traffic car in red. Obviously, it's more visible, so VIP mainly probably. Things like that. Then we move over to our Mercedes Sprinter. I think it's the old, well, it's the newer Mercedes Sprinter box van. So it's pretty much like the Northwest ambulances and the normal ambulance that you see over there. So it's a little bit bigger, a little bit taller. It's a lot more defensive. Obviously the windows, if you hit something against that, the windows don't just smash like they would with your normal patrol car. They actually have a defense on them, so they're like plastic instead of glass, but they're not just weak plastic. Obviously you have your roll bar in real life that would be up there, and then obviously you have something that just lets it fall down nice and slowly, not smashing anything on your bonnet. Obviously you have all your seats. Obviously we can actually walk in the car for some reason, but you have 3 seats there, 2 seats there, and a seat there. Obviously you might be able to fit more in the back, and obviously you have your 2 front people. So obviously that is that. So now basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the server, and then that is going to be it. That'll be the information. Okay guys, there are the cars with the lights on. Obviously some of them obviously are quite dim, and some of them obviously need a, well, all of them need a lot brighter, getting a lot brighter, but that's fine. That's something we're going to sort on. Obviously again, the more people that join, obviously the quicker we're going to work to get things sorted, because obviously the quicker people join, the quicker we're going to need to work, and obviously that's a big booster of morale, that we do need to work quicker, more people join basically. Them two I can't really get the lights sorted because I can't figure out what it is, whether it's the horn or the actual ALS or not, but oh well. So basically what I'm going to say about the server is it's a GTA 5 British Police Met full on fun server to join. The people on it that host it are really nice. It's good laugh. At the moment it's set to 10 people, but not all 10 people are always on at the same time. More people join, the higher number, the amount of people that can come on the server increases. And obviously it's first come first service of joining the server when it's on a small amount, but again, the more of you join, the more that the server amount will go up after a while. Now obviously I've got to say, obviously rules and things like that will all be explained in the server. The link will be in the description to join the Discord, that will then go for an interview process to show how sort of much you really want this and whether you're going to take it serious or not. If you're not going to take it serious, then don't bother joining. We're not saying there'll be someone that's dead, like, I don't know, just does roleplay so serious but doesn't like to have a bit of fun, because obviously we want civs to cause incidents and cause scenarios that are going to make us laugh and also have a good time, but also we want people that are going to roleplay realistic things and get involved, and when they're serious be able to respond to them seriously and not mess about. Obviously people are not just going to crash their cars into civilians and things like that without getting TPAC requests, and firearms officers not just shooting at people for no reason. So that's all I've got to say guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you really join the server, and the link will be in the description as I said. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, press the notification button down below for notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.